Streaming.
We're streaming.
Streaming.
That was so not a Joe Biden voice. My fellow American. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not the president anyway. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he is.
He is. By the way, this podcast is brought to you by Boger Cabinetry. We'll talk about them a little bit more if our memory doesn't fail us.
It will.
Who are you?
Just kidding.
So yeah, that State of the Union. It's
International pressure.
it's in the shitter right now. Not gonna lie, but you know what? I'm gonna say some. Oh, I thought you were interfering with the
No,
mic.
it's my mom.
I thought your phone was like too close to the microphone or something,
Oh.
and it was just like you remember like back in the early days. If you knew you were gonna get a phone call on your cell, if your cell phone was too close to the, you knew it was me like
No, it was like yeah.
Gonna call now. But yeah,
Coca-Cola.
that's State of the Union, man.
Waste of time. No, actually, he
Honestly,
he was actually pretty much.
Well, but
on
here's
it.
the
the
thing,
dementia medication was working really well.
I don't know what they did. They charged him like he was full charge. I don't know if they shot him full of drugs before that. Like maybe they gave him like amphetamine. I don't know. That it worked for Hitler. He didn't even twitch or nothing, dude. I was proud of him. Like for a split second, I was like at the very beginning when he was just starting to talk and he didn't fuck up anybody's name. I was almost like, I'm almost proud of my president right now. Like just almost.
I'm gonna cry.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I was eerily close to jumping on the Biden train for the first little while. Not literally, but
I know.
But and I figured out what it was, because I was expecting failure. I was expecting it to be a train wreck, and then when it wasn't, I was like actually impressed. But then as he kept talking, I'm like, he's not forgetting shit. Now he's just lying. And because the bar was set so low, I'm sitting here thinking like this is actually like a good State of the Union because my expectations were so low.
Well, without further ado, fuck that. Let's get into this shit.
Well, I
know you got some stuff too, and I got some stuff too.
Well, but I wanted to call out a couple of things specifically to the fact checkers, which I have two, but this one's too long. And I kind of speed read. They both say the same stuff. One just adds a bit more context, but it's kind of
It's
unnecessary.
like, listen here, meathead. You're saying the same shit he said.
Go write some shit. You're saying the same shit that you.
Here, you dog. You can take the pencil home with you.
Ward, I think you were a little hard on the beaver.
All right. So what do you got first? Because mine will probably a little. I don't know if it'll be more touchy.
How can 6 dicks be pussies? So yeah, Biden said
Because I have a very personal. Well, it's not personal to me, but it's one of our friends we grew up with that actually relates to what they talked about. So.
Oh, okay.
And I will bring that up when.
So
the time comes.
what I'll do is I'll skim through the summary real quick, and then if we want to dig in deeper, so what it does is it summarizes the bullshit, and then each part has a section that gives like actual hard numbers.
All right, let's go.
All right, so basically, Biden boasted that under his leadership, quote, wages kept going up. Sorry. But over the entirety of Biden's presidency, wages are down when adjusted for inflation, which is actually what I was thinking. I was like, but here's the thing though. I don't even think they're actually up. Especially at the rate of increase compared to under Trump, they're not up. So that adjusted for inflation figure makes sense. Because, yeah, they're probably higher than when Trump was president, but that's every president can say that.
2 seconds. You're good. I'll be right
Yeah. So, and then also Biden claimed the more recent U.S. inflation rate of about 3% is the, quote, lowest in the world. But several nations reported lower rates than the U.S. in December. Now, okay, important point, and I don't know that you can necessarily give credit here.
It's live.
Yeah. But it is true. Like, our inflation rate is way down, but it's still higher than it's supposed to be. And it's like a lot of the stuff, it's like it's not nobody's talking about it. Only the Republicans are talking about it. But I will say, before I get into more of that, the big takeaway I saw, and frankly, by the time I got to the end of it, I was disgusted with the whole thing, but I was disgusted with almost everyone in that room because it pointed out the main issue that, okay, Republicans are booing whatever he says just because he's saying it. Now, to be fair, a lot of it was bad, but Biden was out there picking a fight. Literally picking a fight. And I'm like,
I was going to mention that because...
well, we're going to get into that later.
All right.
Okay, because we're jumping all over us. He again claimed to have cut the federal deficit by over $1 trillion, although declining deficits have mostly been the result of expiring emergency pandemic spending. Biden said he created a record 15 million new jobs. We've already touched on that before. His 4.8 billion new jobs is a record, 4.8 million, sorry, is a record for any president in the first 3 years, but it's not the highest job growth rate that any president has achieved in that period of time. And I do want to dig into that because I have a feeling we know who that is.
I got a feeling.
He suggested that many of the new jobs in the U.S. semiconductor factories will be paying $100,000 a year and don't require a college degree. I called bullshit on that while I was listening to it, and turns out...
because it's a factory.
Well, but in an industry trade group... But an industry trade group previously reported that only workers with bachelor's degrees or graduate degrees make that much.
He said everyone.
He didn't say everyone. He said there were a lot of jobs, but he specifically said they do not require a college degree. And I'm sorry, I heard that, and I'm like, unless you're in
for
your
the $100,000 cap.
Yeah, for the $100,000 a year. But I heard that, and I was like, unless you're doing your own thing, and then you have really no income cap. I'm sorry, in this society, nobody's letting you make $100K without a college degree. It's not going to happen. It would be exceedingly rare, and certainly not in a factory. Let's see. Biden said that my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy and advanced manufacturing. Those are announcements about intentions to invest, not actual investments. Biden highlighted recent decreases in murder and violent crime rates. That part pissed me off, but we'll get into that here in a bit. But neglected to mention that they are still coming down from their pandemic peak. Biden omitted context of a Trump comment following an Iowa school shooting, and I'm going to give Trump shit for that too, but he got more shit than he deserved. The president said billionaires pay an average federal tax rate of only 8.2%, but that's a White House calculation and includes earnings of unsold stock as income.
But hold on though. Let's just get into that for a second. 8.2% on $1 billion. That's a lot of money.
But it's not even the correct figure.
I know, but still, that's his figure.
Well, because
8% on $1 billion is a lot of fucking money.
So let's and again, I'd have to look at an individual's, and that's an average figure. But let's say you've got a billionaire, and let's say half of his net worth is in stock. That's not income.
No.
So that tells me
that's capital gains if
it's sold. So that tells me he's paying 16.4%.
Which,
assuming that the stock is half of his net worth,
right?
Or double his, or if you're saying that his income and his own stocks are the same, which I'm not. I'm just using it as an example because the math is easy.
The math ain't math, G. No, just kidding.
Well, it is there, but it wouldn't be if I was actually trying to.
If he was actually trying.
Well, I'm lacking a lot of information.
Just like all Americans with their government.
Yeah, Biden said that because of the Affordable Care Act, over 100 million people can no longer be denied health insurance due to pre-existing conditions. But pre-Affordable Care Act, employer plans covered many of those people and couldn't deny policies. Biden said he was cutting our carbon emissions in half by 2030. That's the U.S. goal relative to 2005 emissions, but studies suggest current policies will not reduce emissions by that much. So those were just the pointed out flaws, but then also one of the ones that stuck out to me was he said Trump wasn't tough on China, and I'm like, what the fuck do you call those tariffs that you let expire? Some of them anyway, by the way.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding? There's never been a president that's been tougher on China.
And that's coming from not a supporter.
Well, I was actually a big supporter of the tariffs.
No, Trump.
I mean, I like a lot about Trump, but I'm not like I wouldn't call myself a MAGA Republican. That's all he means by that.
What would you say? Just an informed voter?
No, I'm a moderate through and through. For me, it depends on the specific issue.
Yeah, middle's always the best way to go.
It's not, I wouldn't even. I only say middle because like I'm a middle way in politics, but it really does depend on the issue. Like I'll be honest, I'm gonna say this carefully, and I go back and forth on this. When it comes to something like abortion, I'm probably super right leaning on it, just from a logical standpoint, because I don't want to be super right on it.
You
but
changed on that a little bit.
Well, because I started really thinking about it.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
It's not even just the Constitution, although that probably started it. But it all comes down to the definition of a life.
Where are we at
What do you mean?
on that?
Oh, I'm done with the summary.
Okay, all right. Well,
So that was the one that I noticed. So was there anything that you noticed too specifically that you want to point out, and then we can dig into some of the stuff?
well, I will actually just go ahead and get to what I was talking about, because you're talking about abortion and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Trisomy 18, when they specifically spoke about it, there was a what was her name? Kate Cox out of
in Texas.
in
Yes.
Texas, thank you. And so supposedly she could not get
Oh,
an
no,
abortion for trisomy 18 because her life was at risk. Do you know what the like literally symptoms for a mother, like any complications would be for trisomy 18? It's high blood pressure. That's not a reason. I looked it up before.
But I don't know her specific case. And
okay, so Marley's story on Facebook is our friend. He had a child. The child had trisomy 18. She carried it until she had to deliver, and they actually stayed with the baby until it passed away. And then the thing is, they had another baby a couple years later, about a year and a half, something like that later, after that, because they wanted a child together. But the first one, had trisomy 18. They loved her. They gave her, it was a Christian family, FYI. And
that was going to be my next question.
So they obviously they kept her until it was time for her to pass. And you can check out her story on Facebook, Marley's story. But anyway, so Biden literally within that, he was saying that it could cause problems to a second child and then child to this, and it's actually just a third chromosome issue as well, I believe. And but their second child is just fine. They don't have any problems. The doctors didn't even state that she should get an abortion just because the child has trisomy 18. Like literally, basically for the most part, most doctors would tell you to just like expect a very short life. They
yeah, but
tell you that.
I'll be real with you on that one.
Why would you kill something that's already going to die?
Because it's already going to die.
But if it's already going to die, why do you got to do it?
Okay. Well, I guess. Okay. So my
There's
question.
it's not going to harm her, and the thing is,
it could though.
But the thing is, if she was well enough to travel to another state, she was in perfect health. When you finally,
you got to be careful. You got to be careful.
I don't have to be careful. She
Yeah,
has to be careful.
no,
She's
you
the one
do.
who has to answer for her fucking
No,
sins,
no,
not me.
no.
No, go ahead.
So I think one thing that nobody came out and said was that, and I'm making a bit of an assumption here, but I'm assuming the risk to the mother's health, because every delivery carries risks, and every delivery can theoretically be the last one you're capable of doing, because there can be complications. I think that might be what they were talking about in a
Sure, but
medical
that doesn't
sense.
give you the right to kill the baby just because there could be implications.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
All right,
but
what
what I'm saying is it would, for me, it would honestly depend on when she got that diagnosis. Because I'm not going to lie to you. If I know that, me personally, if I know that we're talking about delivering a baby that's going to last minutes, hours, or days, and then die, like we know this is going to happen. I mean, if it were me, I would absolutely choose to terminate the pregnancy.
I don't know, because the thing is, it's still my child in the womb. I couldn't conceive killing my own child.
But it's going, your child is literally, so, okay. I have to word this carefully because I don't want to misspeak.
No, you're good.
Because I don't want to use the phrase clump of cells. But
Because if left alone, for the most part, 99.9% of babies will grow into a full-grown adult.
I guess what I'm getting to here is this is a personal decision, because I could totally respect your decision, but I could understand and empathize with somebody who would say I'd rather terminate the pregnancy when it still kind of looks non-human, as opposed to watching it die in my arms. I can understand that.
So, but I mean, I don't know, like, because for the most part, I would assume they're not going to find out till at least second or third trimester with trisomy 18. Like, I would assume it would be kind of, well, I mean, if it makes it that far, because honestly, Marley's story, she was very young when she was born, and so therefore, obviously, you know, they just had a good few days with her, you know, loved on her a little bit, you know, did some skin-to-skin contact, met their daughter instead of, you know, killing it in the womb. But past that, like, I can understand where you're coming from.
That's what I'm saying.
At the same time, I value life more. Not than you. Like, I'm not saying
I know what
like
you mean.
that.
I know what you mean.
I value life more.
See, but that's important that you point that, because I know what you mean. We've run into this before.
Right. And
I know what
you
you
mean.
mean.
Someone you don't know, they'd be like, what do you mean I don't value life?
But I guess this is a point where, honestly, my deference, for multiple reasons, not least of which being that I will never be pregnant.
Yeah,
it's not possible.
I will never, ever be able to feed a child, unlike some other men who think they can feed child with HIV. I'll leave that up to the viewer to find out.
Ooh, shots fired. That was me.
That felt weird. No. I felt it up here. I was like, is there a cat in here?
No, but my deference as far as legal would be, I would say that is a situation where I think it would absolutely be between, you know, the parents, if both were involved, but at the very least the mother and her physician. And in this case,
I'm just confused how trisomy 18, if it's so deadly and so widely researched to the mother, why isn't it on the accepted abortion list? Because not accepted abortion list, because a tubal ligation pregnancy is not. I mean, yeah, it's still a pregnancy, and aborting it does save the mother, because the thing is, it's outside of the well, it's in the tubes. But anyway, so that will kill the mother if the baby starts growing in there, and you can't just like pick it up and move it.
Right.
You know.
Well, but and then that's one of those situations where I find myself on the fence in the abortion argument, because like I don't even want to invoke God in this, but for lack of a better term, I'm gonna use the phrase God here, but what I mean is just circumstances that cannot be understood. But most people that are super pro-life lean religious, so I'm just going to use God as a stand-in. So if
I will say I was pro-life before I became religious,
and I'm not religious, and I'd say I'm probably like 90% pro-life, and I want to be 100%.
Your like explanations of why you even agreed with abortion, certain types, were mostly ones that I actually agreed with until I changed my mind on certain things.
Well, but here's where I get stuck, though, from being 100%.
Mother's life is always first, and it's her choice.
But okay, so but that's, and I agree with you. However, in terms of actually the act that is committed, I know the intention's different, but what's the difference philosophically? I'm sorry, not philosophically. What's the difference physically in relation to the child in question if you have an abortion to save the life of the mother versus just having an abortion in general? Like, the physical act is the same. The difference is the intention. I understand that. But in terms of the child in question, it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? That's where I get stuck. And then I'm saying, okay, so if that's acceptable, because I've come to the conclusion that in my mind, absolutely it is. Especially if you know the child will die and then you run the risk of the mother having complications or dying, then it's kind of like it's a no-brainer.
From birth?
Whatever, yeah, from birthing the child. Yes.
Well, I'm only talking about trisomy 18.
I know. I'm talking general.
Okay, well, I was gonna say, what I was talking about, trisomy 18, there's literally not a whole lot of reason for abortion of that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand what you're saying.
There's not a lot of medical reason.
But at the same time, there are drugs to induce birth, and they could go ahead and birth the baby to get it out of her instead of killing it, and then like allow it.
And then just let it die on the table. Like I guess
I mean,
that's where
it sounds
here's
horrible.
okay.
But the thing
Okay,
is,
no, I have a
I'm
question.
all for nature. I don't believe in euthanasia for animals.
I have a question. Well, yeah. Well,
I know.
I have a question for you though. And this might be something you haven't considered. I don't know how painful a death from trisomy 18 would be for a child. I don't know. But let's assume, for the sake of the argument, that it is an extremely painful and agonizing.
I'm not for mercy killings.
Really? If death is inevitable anyway?
I know it sounds horrible, doesn't it?
Well, no. I mean, it's just it's
just,
hard to wrap your head
around. If I have a stance, I'll stand on it. Like like if I have a stance, I'll stand on it. I mean, if
I have a leg, I will stand.
Because the thing is, like in my opinion, it's like my parents they had a dog for a long time. You remember Foxy?
Yeah.
They had a dog for a long time, and they actually considered putting her down because she couldn't move. Because they didn't, like look into it, whatnot. But then they finally took her to a vet, and they was like, "Oh, she's got really bad arthritis." They gave her medication. I know, but I'm just saying they were toying with the idea because
right.
The thing is they didn't even think about that.
Well, they suggested I put my cat down, or at least I shouldn't say they suggested it.
Leo, my cat.
You told me that story, yeah.
I don't know what he got into. He had a plug in his penis, and it was disgusting. But once it came out, and they said, oh, he's not gonna live maybe 6 months, and here we are 4 years later.
Yeah.
3 years later.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, okay. So
I do agree. They euthanize animals way too.
It's not up to
but
us.
But here's the alternative. Let's say your dog gets hit by it. Well, that's not even a good example. Let's say you hit you hit an animal of some kind, and it's fucked.
Keep it comfortable till it passes.
Really, as opposed to just putting a bullet in its head.
Well. I mean, all right. Listen, all right.
I'm talking. This is rare.
If you want my true like how I would be okay, like I know this sounds bad. Say me and you were in war.
Yeah.
You get a kill shot and you're going to die, and you don't want to sit there in pain, and you ask me, I have the ability. You are like choking on your own stuff,
yeah.
whatnot. Like,
I have the ability to ask you to do that.
Well, if you're choking on your own blood.
Okay, valid.
But you're also going to die
get hand
quickly.
signals like.
I know, right? Or no, like be like.
But I guess you're right though. In that instance, you're going to die quickly anyway.
The movie The Fly. That's my point. So it's like, I mean, it's
okay. That's fair.
Either way,
that's fair. I guess where you really come into like putting animals out of their misery is usually in hunting, and in which case I'm like, well, you could just not shoot it.
Oh yeah, and I'm a carnivore, by the way.
And I'm not hating on hunters because I know I'm a big. All the hunters I know are super ethical hunters, meaning like if they're not 100% sure they're getting a kill shot, they're not taking the shot.
Well, and
they're not going to do it.
The thing with deer, like if you don't get a proper kill shot, in my opinion, the meat tastes like trash. Like I do not like adrenaline in the meat because like when they get shot, not in the kill shot, adrenaline just releases in their body,
because they run,
and it changes the taste. They were running, and
it
changes
running.
the taste of the meat by like quite a bit. I don't prefer gamey meat. Like it's just that's
it's so weird. I'm not a huge fan of venison, but I love elk. Elk's good shit. Elk and bison's good, man.
Does elk have game taste?
No,
really?
No, man. Okay. It's so good.
I
want to have an elf. I've only had.
You've had bison though, right?
Oh yeah, dude, bison steak is.
Okay.
That shit's good.
That's like a cow on steroids.
You know what it is though? It's leaner. That's oh man, it's good shit.
I mean, you got the right cut of steak, really. I'm telling you what.
Tell you what, boy.
I know. That's what I always try to tell people. I am a enigma. I will confuse the shit out of you with my views.
Well, not really, because we understand too that. Like, to flip it on its head. So, like, people were like, how can you say that, me a carnivore? It's like, I forget what did Sosa say.
I can't read it. Watching it would only make me angry. It wasn't that bad, actually. I mean, like, it was more of a comedy show.
It made me angry a couple of times, but again, we'll get into that. But just to
thought
flip
about Shane Gillis punching him.
But just to flip it on its head, is I follow this guy on YouTube and I think Instagram, and he's got a dairy farm. And at certain points, he slaughters his cows too. And he made a very good point. He was like, yeah, if you've got a problem with this, it pretty much tells me that you've never actually seen how this operation happens. The way we kill them is instant death. And in fact, they've measured the neural activity when it happens. It is dead before it knows anything has happened. It's instant.
Oh, the bolt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an instant death. You know, it's like...
And like I said, you know, with what I say and whatnot, and then I'm okay with eating meat and killing animals for meat.
Well, but he's...
for sustenance. I mean...
Well, but he also said, what's the alternative? Okay, you let it out and, you know, run wild like a wild animal. Okay, so then it gets attacked by a pack of wolves, gets eaten ass first while it's still alive.
Right.
It's like, nah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, nature will be nature. Leave it alone. It's been there before we were.
I think that's something that people.
Alone.
I think that's something that people don't really think about. Like if you and there, it's all the time on nature documentaries. Like
nature's fucking scary.
Well, and it's also it fucking hurts. I watched Nature is Metal on Instagram. I watched a fucking. I think it was.
I had to unfollow, man. It was just too much for me.
Sometimes it is, man. Sometimes it's just wild. It shows how powerful nature is. But I watched one, and honestly, I stayed away from their page.
Though.
I stayed away from their page for a couple of days. This was so revolting. I watched a pack of hyenas literally disembowel a zebra, and it was at an angle where I'm just gonna put it this way: you can see everything. And I watched the innards of this zebra come out, and it kind of did this, like, I don't know what you would call it, like a gasp almost when it happened. Like there was pressure released and it just went like, ah. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fuck. That's got to be the worst way. Like, I'm sure that zebra would have much rather been fucking killed by a hunter.
Poor thing. I mean, like I said, you know, nature.
But hyenas got to eat.
Bitches gotta eat. Hoes gotta eat too.
Hyenas gotta eat, man.
All right, so
wow, that went.
Yeah, that was my bad.
No, it's okay. But I mean, I actually do want to have. When we get to a point where we do, maybe we'll do it as a Rumble special. I want to have not a debate because it'll. I want to have an abortion discussion.
Oh yeah, and we can't do that on Facebook. We can't do that on YouTube. They'd be like, misinformation.
Because I
said a baby.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was COC.
That's going to be a short.
Clump of cells.
Misinformation. You said a baby.
But go ahead and put that on and watch. It'll get flagged.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will. Which, by the way, I thought we were getting shadow banned, and then I put the short of the Trump sneakers up. 8,000 fucking views.
I know. I saw.
And once again, all the comments are negative. But
there was tons of likes on it.
200 plus likes.
You know, the thing is with YouTube, it's hilarious because like you will have something that is seemingly popular, and then all of a sudden it just dies. And the funny thing is, it kind of might sometimes be a little more right leaning, but it just goes to the grave so fast.
Yeah, it's
a little
funny.
Weird there, YouTube.
No, I thought we were getting shadow banned on Trump content. I really did.
I honestly thought that at first, and then all of a sudden, you know, honestly, it was probably all the dudes that bought the shoes.
Probably.
They're probably like, fuck yeah, I'm rocking these
fuck
shoes.
yeah.
That bitch is comfortable.
Where was I going? But yeah, I would like to have that because I think I want to explore a lot of these ideas, and I think I need to bounce them off just another person so that you can poke holes in them and I can be like, shit, okay, yeah, that's because thinking about it by myself. Like, I've defeated some viewpoints, but I know that if I put them out there, you can be like, yeah, no.
Also, I want to point something out, guys. You want to know something? We've been best friends since we were wee little lads, and yet we can still disagree on certain things and not be hateful about it.
Yeah, he still thinks the Batman was a good movie. That's another episode I have to do. Something in the way. This movie fucking sucks.
Hey, I tell you what though, that song literally
made
that movie so damn good. And then literally they just did the whole score with just those two notes. Dong, dong. It was cool.
Yeah, pretty much. That's another episode I promised I would do. Is I got to watch some Robert Pattinson movies But check out. I'm gonna show you this. What I'm gonna buy for that episode. Load, you fucker.
Oh, I think I'm gonna do a remake of Biden's in the Way. Haterade.
I'm gonna buy that for the episode.
No, it's salty. Biden's in the way.
Yeah. So I kind of want to go back to what did I say? What did I have a problem with? God damn it.
Cheese.
No, I can process dairy. That's just fine.
I ate a whole pizza last night.
Oh.
Sick. No, I'm okay. I took anti-diarrhea.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's the only thing that helps me, and that stuff causes heart attacks.
Okay. So
Heart
what
failure. Same thing. This too.
Okay, so the wages under Biden have actually declined 3.1% since he took office, which means wages were higher under Trump.
Also, doesn't he keep saying about all the jobs he created? And
Well,
a
and
lost
that's-
job is not a created.
Well, okay, so that's there's a
You've
lot
already
of
debunked that several times.
there's a lot of nuance there. So first of all, I mean, yeah, it is true, but a lot of those are jobs in the federal employment sector, which I guess like they're quote jobs, but that's not really a reflection of how the economy is better under you, because that would be jobs being created in the private sector. And then, like we pointed out several times, it's like, yeah, when you start with, first of all, it's not a new job, it's somebody going back to a job theoretically. Even if you're not going back to the same job, that job existed in all likelihood, and you're putting somebody back into it. So does that count? I mean, a lot of what Biden said is not, it's true if you look at it from the right angle, but you kind of have to like really get, the right angle. You know what I mean?
Like, you know how Biden doesn't look like Biden, and it looks like someone's wearing a Biden mask. You know, it's like 10 years ago, like when he was Barack Obama's vice president. Bro, he looks so different.
Dude, that's the difference between 60s and 70s, though, man. Like,
Really,
it's happening.
though?
Oh, yeah, dude, look. Even look at Pelosi.
Look at Trump.
Look at Vince McMahon. When he was in his 60s, he still looked like fucking jacked and yoked and shit. And then,
Hey, everybody woke up, man.
Right.
They ran out of adrenochrome.
so I want to
Listen, I'm kind of joking about that, but I'm kind of not, because
So get
like,
this
have you
shit.
noticed how like faster people are aging that
Here,
are like
okay,
famous?
here's the fucked up, not adrenochrome, but I had shower thought today. And I want to preface this by saying this
Shower
is
thought.
the literal shower thought. I came up with this in the shower, and I went, fuck, I hope I'm wrong. So it was because I was listening to Joe Rogan, which, by the way, Joe Rogan's not exclusively to Spotify anymore. He's back
I
on
know.
YouTube.
I saw. That was awesome. Because the first one he came back with, it was someone. Well, the first one I saw, I can't remember. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, he was on there with Kevin James, and
That's who it was. Yeah. I was like, hey.
That's not the first one back, but it's one of the earlier ones.
Welcome back, Joe.
And see, the funny thing is, I can't remember what the actual deal is.
I didn't
So
like it on Spotify anyway.
no, I didn't. I prefer it on YouTube.
I like to watch them.
I agree.
Because the thing is, when they say funny things, they make faces. And I like to see their faces.
Joe's laugh is
And
fucking.
Theo Vaughn, man, you have to see his face in order to laugh.
You do. You have
Because
to
if
see.
you don't see him, it's,
You have to
it's not
see.
that funny.
You have to see how serious he is.
Oh man, he's like, I knew some motherfuckers with sweaters.
Yeah, man. And they were the nice ones too. You know, with the hoods and the
Like,
drawstrings.
man, you think I'm just gonna move next door and take all your shit and then just not have it? We're gonna split these plums or not, man?
So, but anyway, my shower thought. So,
My bad.
Joe, no, you're fine. So Joe was talking about stem cells, right? And then I just start
He
pushing.
is a stem cell. Anyway,
Well, no, but I'm thinking about it, right? And so I'm like, and then I started thinking about old people and how, no, like somebody like Tom Cruise is fucking 60 something.
he
should.
also takes really good care of himself.
Oh, I bet he does. Here's my inner conspiracy theory. No, but here's my,
Sorry, headphone users.
So, but we know you don't have to get stem cells from what is the technical term? Embryonic stem cells.
No.
But
You can create them
But-
from fasting.
But, well, I mean, like outside stem cells. But embryonic stem cells are some of the easiest to harvest. They're easy to get and plentiful.
Yeah, Planned
Right.
Parenthood is really helpful.
Well, but here's my little conspiracy though.
Oh,
So
I'll shut up.
I'm thinking all these like really rich motherfuckers who don't look nearly as old as they should are getting fucking stem cell treatments. But here's the thing: if that's in such demand, where are you getting all the stem cells? Because adult stem cells take longer to. So now I'm like, and then I'm thinking, okay, why are they fighting so hard for all this fucking like again pro-abortion laws, right? And I
You start to see the
Pure-
evilness
pure-
of society.
oh, and I'm not saying it's happening.
My friend,
all
you
I'm
are
saying-
starting to wake up, and I'm so happy.
Well, it's like a while back you
Weren't
you
really
sent
asleep, but-
you said something, and I'll be because I told you I was like, I'll be honest, I was like, yeah, okay, take it with a grain of salt. But then I looked it up, I'm like, and it had to do with embryonic stem cells, about Planned Parenthood selling them or something. Oh, selling. I don't know about selling.
Hold on, let me clarify. Planned Parenthood did not sell them. It was an employee who worked for Planned Parenthood who was selling them to someone else. They cannot put two and two together.
Right,
so
but then
it
I
was
found
an
an
employee. But I mean, the story is true.
No. I found an article that confirmed it. They were doing it. I showed it to you. I said, "Holy fuck, dude! You weren't kind of right. You were fucking right. Like it's right here."
Man, I was so right. I don't remember.
It's been a couple years.
Oh,
But man, and I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but I'm putting the shit together in
you
my
just
head,
made my heart start pounding. I was like, holy shit.
and I'm sitting over here because I've always wondered that. I'm like, because you have like the Bill Clinton pro-choice that it's like they should be safe. What was it? Safe.
His
something.
were mildly reasonable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't remember. Safe something and rare, and I'm kind of like, okay,
Look at him. He doesn't have his fix anymore. That motherfucker's just
Yeah.
And then Obama, he's getting grayer by the
well,
day.
I think there's a line where it can only work for so long, but maybe that's why these people are starting to age like overnight, because you reach a point where it doesn't work anymore.
That's fucking genius.
Because
I get exactly.
it seems like once they hit 70, man, 70 or 75, because like Vince McMahon's 77, Biden's about 77, 78,
I know this
Pelosi's 106.
on Supernatural. I'm just gonna say this on Supernatural. When someone sells their soul to a demon, like obviously they get whatever wish they want, but they have 10 years to live that wish.
Ah,
This
okay.
is kind of a little different. It's more elongated, but like, it's just kind of like.
Or maybe they get like a contract. It's like, yeah, vote for.
Obviously, I don't think it's a demon deal or anything. FYI, I'm not a fucking.
But then, like,
lunatic.
okay, so who benefits?
Could be.
Let's be real here. Who benefited from the overturn of Roe v. Wade? On the surface, it seems like pro-life people did, but if now
No,
you're
it literally fucked up everything.
well, yeah, because now if you live in a state where let's say that you're a company that, how do I covertly say this, that curates magic cells, and now you don't have a time limit on when you can harvest them. I think you might
Ding,
support.
Ding, ding, ding.
I think you might support pure speculation. I'm just saying. I started connecting the dots in my head, and I went.
Alex Jones has been saying this shit forever.
He
literally has been speaking about adrenochrome and stuff
I know,
like that.
but here's where I'm going to throw some shit onto. I'm not going to say it's wrong,
And I'm not going to say Alex Jones is right either, because he's
That's
been
what
wrong
I'm
plenty
saying.
of times.
But again, for
YouTube.
my example,
Speculation.
I'm going to assume. How do you pronounce that?
Adrenochrome.
Okay.
I think it's.
I'm not saying it's
Adrenochrome.
BS, but for the sake of my argument, I'm going to
Sure.
say it's BS.
I mean, I can't prove it, so I mean.
So, but this is the problem I have with groups like QAnon, right? So, again, for my example, I'm assuming that adrenochrome.
QAnon, I don't know who they are.
I'm assuming that it's BS.
He knew who they were.
Yeah, but yeah, but it's like you're so fixated on this thing that may or may not be made up when the answer, what's really going on, may be right in front of you. I'm much more inclined to believe fetal stem cells and maybe like human trafficking over it's something in blood, right? I'm way more inclined to believe the first two. The other one is, I mean, but here's the frustrating part. You can't research it because they curate everything fucking online. So you either find crazy pages that aren't credible or nobody's actually studying it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Even though, they've been happening for a long time, and it's wild how, oh, well, speaking of, since you're talking about that. So Jill Biden, Biden appointed her to oversee some what was it? You might it was so basically they're giving $12 billion to women's health care. And I'm just like so what you're saying, Biden, is you're giving $12 billion to your friends because you guys are literally probably I'm assuming everything, but Ukraine money. I'm just saying,
by the way, I meant to.
And then $12 billion to women's health care to your wife. That's going to control this sector. It's like. Yeah.
By the way, this will make you laugh. I saw this on Facebook earlier.
Oh no, baby, we did that on purpose.
So.
What did we do on purpose?
Oh God damn it! It didn't. Shit.
Is it a picture? Click it.
No, I screenshotted this.
Oh.
It was something about. God damn it. Oh, above it cut it off because I was trying to show the comments. The comment said something to the effect of like women have accidentally forgotten how to like, what was it, comfort or support a man. And then that was underneath it. Oh no, babe, we did that on purpose. But then the two comments, you've got a woman who commented and a man. The woman comments with an attitude like that, you're going to need your hand to make you feel special. Oh, it was women accidentally forgot how to make a man feel special. That's what it was. And she said, oh no, babe, we did that on purpose. But the woman commented that, and then the man underneath said, why should a woman have to make a man feel special? That's the epitome of what's wrong with our fucking society.
You want to know something? Blow that up. It's a fucking meme page.
Yep.
Not a real person. ISIS, bro. No, I shit you not.
I know.
Did you hear about that too? Russia, they always say Russians, but I think it's like fucking ISIS and those dudes. Well, I'm thinking it's those dudes over in the computer. Well, they're just like computer labs, but the thing is, they're actually businesses, but they're over in India and they're scammers.
Yeah.
And they literally go into work every day to scam people, and then when they make it, they laugh about it. I watched someone scam them, and I've seen that. They were watching the video of them.
Yeah, and he knows her name.
Oh, dude, they were just like and I'm not trying to make their.
Hello, this is Mike from Denver.
He did it first, not me. But yeah, that just blew my mind.
My name is Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson? Isn't that the speaker?
Oh shit, it is.
Dude,
it's a scam.
His face.
Dude, he had some moments.
Did you watch the Dave Chappelle stand-up when he was talking about the people in wheelchairs?
Yeah.
Okay, listen, dude. Mike Johnson was doing it. He's just like...
He did, though. He had moments. But here's the thing. Mike Johnson was one of the few people that didn't piss me off that night.
He stood and clapped when things were good. When it was
good, yep.
That's what we fucking advocate for, because like when Trump did good things, you said, nice.
But
when he did bad things, you're like, what the hell, Orange Man?
But he had some eye roll moments, right?
Yeah.
And
where are we at, by the way?
Oh, I'm not going in any particular order.
Okay, no worries. I just didn't want
to. I mean, we don't have to go into the inflation because
we owe a great gratitude to someone who just passed away, and I want everyone, if anyone's paying attention to this and you like Dragon Ball Z, stay tuned to the next
we're doing
episode, which is like literally right after this one.
Yeah, we're gonna do a bonus episode tonight where we're actually gonna have fun, but this pissed us off.
Do we want to record it?
No, let's do it live.
All right, well then we'll have to set it up, but we'll take a brief intermission.
Yeah, but so inflation, So the inflation rate when Biden took office was 1.4%.
And then it's up over what?
It's about it's 3.1 now, which is so. Here's the thing: the Fed's projected their goal is 2%. So I would like to remind everybody, under Donald Trump,
we were under our goal.
After and during a pandemic, we were still at 1.4%. So you remember, like, and if you're more left leaning, I encourage you to try to remember objectively. In the year 2018, how was your life? How was your grocery bill? Not your bullshit, oh my God, these people are being oppressed in the greatest country in the world bullshit. I mean, your life.
Brother, I was fat.
Right.
I was happy.
What was your grocery bill? What was it costing to fill your gas tank? What were your utility bills like? I remember having some pretty decently low utility bills.
Well, I was mining around.
Yeah, you're the.
No, that was 2018. No, I didn't start mining until 2020.
That's right, you didn't. Yeah, never mind.
Never mind. Okay, but
Well,
still,
fuck-
I mean,
fuck 2020.
Even then, my bills were like all my bills were okay and very manageable until 2022.
Yeah.
Like literally, like I want to say May into June.
And I'm not even going to be naive and say that Trump had nothing to do with that, because Trump did spend a lot of money. There was going to be some inflation.
Now the COVID money, right?
Yeah, but that
I
pales.
was hoping you would bring this up.
Well, but I'm
The COVID relief money.
I'm literally being fair here. I'm not.
Oh, no, I know, and I wasn't. I'm not trying to attack you, but the thing is, I was already thinking about this. The COVID relief money that Trump did give us was future tax cuts that was already
Well, no, I mean he spent a lot.
well,
for the
I know,
payments, but-
and I'm not saying it was all covered, but for the most part, all of what he proposed was almost like kind of essentially paid for. But what
In a manner of
Biden,
speaking,
the second
yeah.
one that he passed, no.
Well, and Biden
And
also
then
did
Biden,
more.
the third one,
Well, Biden's payments were double.
what were they? I can't remember.
1,200, weren't they? Up
1,600, right?
up to, I think.
I mean, we got a lot, but that's because I have two kids.
Right.
I mean,
I
knew
mean
it
the
was gonna
single-
be bad. I was like, oh wow, I have like $4,500 or $6,000 or $5,000 right now. This is awesome for a little bit until it comes to bite me in the ass 2 years later, which I already fucking was prepared for. But I
the
wasn't
only
prepared
reason
enough.
the only reason I took it, though, honestly, was because I knew I couldn't opt out.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's like, can we opt out and then,
But
and then
but
when
even
the prices go up, like, can we pay pre-pandemic prices?
right, if I could have done that, I so would have. Because I didn't at the
Dude,
time. I didn't
shit
need the
wasn't
money.
even expensive during the pandemic. Shit was still cheap because
shit-
I mean, look at all the people who bought all the fucking toilet paper. Boy, they could afford it then, and now we can't. Like, I tell you what, if the pandemic were to happen today, people would think twice about going and buying toilet paper.
Well, and here's
like
the
they
funny
did.
thing. So you keep hearing those rumors
I
about
have my
like
fingers up.
you, Jeff Hardy. But they keep
Hit 'em
talking
with
about, where are you? Oh, by the way, speaking of John Cena, I don't know if you're aware of this. They released it now. He's in a new movie that Amazon put out, Ricky Stenicki. Okay.
I saw some.
Here's the
previews.
funny thing, though. As part of the marketing, John Cena created a Ricky Stenicki OnlyFans page. But here's the best part. So it's
Fucker took my idea.
basically, yeah, because here's the thing. It's free to subscribe. But all the pictures have like really racy captions. But like one of his, like, it's Teabag Tuesday. It's a video of him literally dipping a tea bag in there.
That's funny.
And then he was like fisting like there's no tomorrow. It's an old picture of him on the SmackDown set where it had the big fist coming out of the screen. And I knew that's what it was going to be, right? But I'm like, God damn, that shit's funny. That shit's hilarious. But anyway, back to...
Well, actually, I was just gonna go over you with timeline. What is it? Are we still live? Yeah. Okay, just checking. Anyway.
Oh, actually, that's a fun fact. Are we live? Well, yeah, we have to be live because Sosa...
Well, it still says streaming, so I don't have it set up normally. I wanted to be able to read the chat that we couldn't read.
I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, we're still live.
Actually, I can make that. I can make it.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to, because my memory didn't fail me. I'm going to take this moment. Are you feeling the pinch financially because of that bullshit inflation that Biden's lying to you about? Do you also have an ugly-ass kitchen? I know you do. Fortunately for you, Boger Cabinetry can help. Generally speaking, Boger Cabinetry is 30 to 40% less than big box stores for comparable quality cabinets, and by comparable quality, I mean all plywood construction. all wood dovetail drawers, soft close hardware included, in over 100 unique styles and colors before you get into custom cabinetry, which they also offer. And this little guy right here is one of the more popular new styles that they have, and it is also 20% off until the end of March. It's one of many styles, so that's 20% off on top of the already low prices. You can buy them assembled or unassembled if you want to save even more money. Just visit bogercabinetry.com for more information. Stop by their showroom in Fishers, Indiana, 9721 Kincaid Drive, and tell them, mention Average Intelligence Podcast to receive another 5% off your cabinet purchase. By the way, certain brands come with a lifetime warranty. Back to you.
I've got wood.
It's actually wood though. That's a maple door.
I like it. It looks good.
Yeah. It is literally one of the more popular new
It's very
colors.
modern.
Yeah. These natural wood colors are coming back, but they're different than what they were before. They're less yellowy, less orangey, more like a traditional driftwood brown. So
Driftwood.
yeah, it's a beechwood, driftwood,
You know,
kind of
driftwood, it's not that it's the most popular, but that is literally one of the most color of roof shingles you see on most roofs is driftwood. And it's hilarious, I don't know why that's hilarious. I'm a very boring person, sorry.
I don't know, man. Those shingles you sold me were pretty good.
What color were they?
I don't fucking remember.
They were driftwood, dude.
I was
That's what I was
selling
trying
the
to
house.
tell you, because the funny thing is you were like, oh no, I was like, oh, they're driftwood, and then I think you had 3-tab up there.
I literally could not have cared less. I was selling the house anyway.
The ridge venting you had was literally on top. It was an older type, but it was on top, and it was literally just aluminum on top of the roof, just bolted on there, and I was just like, all right, my dog's barking real quick.
Woo, 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 woo.
Entertain for a second.
I shall. So let's, like I said, there's not too much to go with the inflation, although it looks like some other countries that had lower inflation rates than we currently have are, we've got Denmark with the lowest at 0.7%. Lithuania at 1.2, Belgium at 1.4, South Korea at 3.2, had a lower inflation rate than we did as of December, but now we are at 3.1, so we're slightly lower. And it even says, even by the White House's own calculations, which adjust for the difference in how countries calculate inflation, Biden's claims were inexact. And then the deficits we pretty much already covered. That's mostly, COVID spending that's expiring. So I'm just going to read the section on jobs since we were talking about that.
Yeah, sure.
Quote, record jobs. As he has done in recent speeches, Biden boasted that he created a record 15 million new jobs in his first 3 years in office. He frequently adds on the campaign trail that that's more than any president has created in 3 years or in the first 4-year term. This is Biden saying it. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years. A record. A record. He said Thursday night, right after saying, our economy is literally the envy of the world. Which, I mean, let's be fair. That's at least...
Right now?
No, well, especially right now. That's at least 80% true, generally speaking.
It's kind of like how Biden's 80% there sometimes.
Hey, man, 80% Biden is good for
that's
him.
what I'm saying, because you could tell when he was starting to slip up because the words started coming
But his
out like
his slips
diarrhea.
his slips were understandable though, at least in the beginning, and towards the end he was just getting
Dude, there were some slips where he would say the word just fine, and then he would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then he would say it, and it's like, and I'm like,
There was one moment where I think he faked a cough because he knew he was bullshitting.
"Excuse me." Yeah, I noticed that.
It seemed fake. It seemed like he needed an excuse to. Sorry, I'm just making sure.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
So they can be okay. So let's. Since Biden took office, it says he's right on the new jobs to a point. Since Biden took office, the U.S. economy has added 14.8 million jobs, which is a record number of jobs, at least since 1939, for any president in his first 3 or 4 years in office, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics data that go back to January of 1939. But Biden isn't accounting for population and job growth. Other presidents have seen a greater percentage increase. The 14.8 million additional jobs under Biden represent a growth rate of 10.3% as measured from January 2021 when Biden took office through January 2024, the latest month for which data are available from the BLS. While impressive, the 10.3% growth rate isn't as high as under some presidents when there were fewer jobs. President Jimmy Carter's only 4 years in office from January 1977 to 1981. The U.S. added 10.3 million jobs. That's an increased factor of 12.8% in Carter's first 3 years. The U.S. added 10 million jobs in Carter's first 3 years. Okay, and then Lyndon Johnson is only full term in office from January 65 to January 69. The U.S. economy added 9.9 million jobs, a 16.5% growth. Yeah, but that's going into what I always talk about, how so. Yes, Biden understands that his percentage of growth rate isn't ideal, so he goes to the hard number. Because technically speaking, it is a record. Technically, there's nuance there. But if he, like, let's say he added fewer jobs than other presidents, but the percentage was greater, he would have gone with the percentage. That's what they always do. That's what they did with COVID mortality. That's what they did. They do it with everything. So
we're lowering COVID deaths by 14%.
No, they always gave the hard numbers, not the percentage.
Oh, that's right.
Because if you looked at the percentage, you'd be like,
well, and also, you know, all the comorbidities and this and that, and you literally take out comorbidities, and literally the percentage just dropped like drastically. But anyway, I won't talk about that because it's been 4 years, and we know it's all pretty much true now.
And then you also have to ask yourself you also have to ask the question, how many of those new jobs are already on track to be added and Biden can't really take credit for? Which is a question we can never truly answer because we'll never truly know. But you better believe that if Trump had won in 2020... You... Which actually, now I want to look up what was Trump's job creation growth, because the economy was already decent when he took office.
I didn't really care about the job growth, to be honest with you, because everything was fucking cheap, because you could literally survive off of one job. Now, when they're talking about, oh, people are working jobs and this and that, it's like, yeah, bitch, because they got to have 3 of them just to afford food. You know, I mean, you got people with full-time jobs literally doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and fucking Walmart Spark and all that other bullshit, like a full-time gig after their full-time gig.
Well, but not only that, even having those higher wages and better jobs leads to more people, you know, going to those gig jobs and being able to support themselves on them, because when, believe it or not, it's actually trickle-down economics. When the upper middle class has more spending money, then yeah, they won't think about paying the extra $10 or $12 it takes to do DoorDash, because it's like when you're making a certain amount of money, your time is more valuable than your money, because if you spend that time making more, it's more valuable to you to be working or doing something productive. Right. So that additional $10, you don't have to hang on to $10. Like, fuck it, the convenience
Nowadays,
is worth it.
You literally have to like fucking think about if you're going to spend money.
I mean, a lot of people do.
If I spend $20, it hurts. Like, it hurts. Like, and I'm not even saying that just to sound like a brokey. It hurts. Like, I'm just like, dude, I literally think about every purchase now. Like, and like, me and my wife, we didn't have any kids last night, and we were in Walmart, and she kept putting stuff in the cart, and I was like, why are you buying that? She's like, oh, I mean, the kids this, that, kids and this, that. I was like, no, food. I was like, you know, you should. We don't need to be buying this kind of stuff, you know. And I was like, if anything, we buy groceries. Like, we have everything we need. Anyway, what you were talking about, just a second ago, Biden was talking about the billionaire tax. Did you hear about that? The 25% billionaire tax.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, listen, like, you want to do that? Guess what happens with those billionaires?
They're just going to take more deductions.
They take their fucking money elsewhere.
Well, no, and they just take more deductions.
Well, like, I mean, they take more deductions. They take their money elsewhere, and then guess what? People lose jobs.
Yeah, it all sounds great, but, and again, it's a ploy. It's a fucking ploy, because, like, I love how they throw out.
It sounds good to young voters.
It sounds good unless you understand.
Billionaires, fuck them. It's like, yeah, because they don't aspire to be like them.
Well, not only that, because they don't understand how the tax code actually works.
You should be like me and get a Bugatti. I can't.
What color is your Bugatti, Joe?
Well, you know, why hasn't he hasn't had Tate on, has he?
Who?
Rogan.
No, Tate can't be on though. unless he wants to do a video chat.
Well, he can't come to America.
Not yet. He still has
Oh,
to
that's
stay
right.
in Bucharest.
Okay, yeah, and I don't like I don't like video chats when it comes to like that kind of shit. Like those two prominent people, I want them in the same room.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really good one.
Oh my gosh, dude! I guarantee you Tate would clear up a lot of stuff and be like,
I guarantee he would.
Because the thing is that's what he does. And you know, just like he says, you know, people take him out of context because it's a short.
Well,
content.
to a point.
He does say, "Wow."
If you go back to Tate from a few years ago, even in his long form content, you're kind of like
grown up a lot.
He has and I'm not taking anything away from him. He has absolutely.
It's because he realized when he first started, he was like, I feel like, you know, he was starting to blow up. And then he started realizing, he's like, oh, man, I've got all these people's ears. I need to say something of importance.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword because I get it.
It took him a while to get to that, I will say.
Well, because as he was growing the brand, he's like, oh, you know, and I totally get it. He's going with what worked. He's going with what got him attention. But then you get the audience, and then you start feeling the responsibility that comes with that. And plus the fact, too, that every year he's growing, he's also getting older, getting a little bit smarter, getting a little bit wiser, you know, realizing that, you know, I understand my point, but you know, I understand my point, but maybe I should have said that a different way. And he's said this, so I'm not putting words into his mouth. Mm-hmm. You know, but at the same time, the core message, as far as he's concerned, is the same. But I'm telling you, I'm just there for Tate Confidential, man. That is some entertaining shit. And Tristan is the dark horse of his brand. The comedy gold dark horse of his brand.
He is. He is. And honestly, I will say, though, honestly, if Tristan would talk more, I feel like he would get taken better because the way Tate talks.
But I get the sense that Tristan doesn't really want to be in that role. Like, he'll support his brother, but I don't think, and actually I think I've heard him say something to that effect. He's like, I didn't ever really want the limelight.
He sounds like Trump all those years of saying he didn't want to run for president. He says, remember, I mean, you saw all the shit. Like there was shit dating back to like the 80s and whatnot, and or maybe early 90s, and he's literally talking. He's like, I don't want to be president. He was like, he's basically saying, have you seen those guys? They go in and they come out gray.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, all the fucking national secrets.
Trump came out more orange.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Must be something in the water.
Oh, but then that leads us to Trump's "get over it" comment, which.
What?
So when Biden had said, you know what, when he was talking about a school shooting in Iowa, you know what my predecessor said? He said, get over it. I say, stop it. Stop, which honestly made me think of the Space Cove bit when they were Minky Boodle. I got a doodle in my noodle, and his name was Minky Boodle. And then finally Zorak goes, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. And then Brack joins in, and Space Ghost just says, beautiful, stop it, 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 stop it. That's what that made me think of. But so then, of course, I looked it up because I was like, I didn't hear Trump say that, but I also, again, like I always say, YouTube and Google are free. So I looked it up, and while Trump didn't just say get over it, I do think Trump deserves some shit for what he did say, but not to the degree that Biden gave to him.
What did he say?
He did say, you've got to get over it. You've got to move on. That's the part I didn't like.
Is he wrong?
I mean, to a point, yes.
You can't beat a dead horse.
Well, people died, dude.
I agree. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, when that shooter came out and it was trans, and they still didn't know the name after like so many days.
I'm only talking about Iowa, but yes, you do have a point.
I'm just saying, you know,
you do have a point. Who was that? Ann Coulter that was on Bill Maher's show, and she was like, I think it was.
There are a lot of lefties that are blowing my mind lately. They're literally coming out and they're just like, what the fuck?
Well, no, but what I was talking about is Ann Coulter.
Except Bill Maher, he's a fucking idiot.
I think it was the Kansas City shooting. She was like, well, it obviously wasn't a white man. And he was like, what do you mean by that? She's like, if it was a white man, we would have known 5 minutes after.
Oh, and Bill Maher. Oh, you know, it's
he
just
was
this
like,
and that. And
he just said,
it's Governor Newsom sucking off.
I think he literally did say something like, really, Ann? And I'm like, yes, Bill, really.
I mean, like when Bill Maher's a bitch. I want to like him.
I love it when he had PBD on and he was like, we get it, you're on the red team. And PBD's like, no, it's not about being on the red team.
Yeah, he literally was like, what?
Because I'll be honest, PBD, if you go back, he's never been a liberal per se, But he's in this.
He's an intelligent guy.
He's a moderate guy. It depends on the issue. However, I mean, obviously, he's very capitalistic. He's very pro-business, which, duh.
It works.
Yeah, and he obviously loves this country like nobody. I mean, fucking served in the military, but I mean, he loves America.
You know what?
What?
I changed my stance on abortion. Legalize it fully.
What did Charlie Kirk say? He said,
they will fucking take themselves out in 20 years, and it will be a fucking completely red country.
But you know what's funny? Remember,
And I'm not happy with that fact, to be honest.
But holy
with you,
shit, though!
because,
Remember, we were
unless they're smart.
I think when we were first starting this podcast, we were like
me.
yeah, but why are all these Gen Z kids fucking conservative? Well, because the liberal parents all had abortions. It's happening faster than we thought.
And that's what I'm saying, you know, and they're literally cutting off them. Like they'll be gone.
They're either having abortions or they're choosing not to have kids in the first place,
Right.
which I can respect more than
All those abortions, they will have gone from they them to was were. I mean, it's just too much, right?
Oh no, it's funny.
That was fucking weird.
But yeah, I like, again, a little flack. I think it was just a little bit insensitive. But again, that's Trump, man.
Oh no, I agree, because like, I mean,
But Biden
kind of like Biden, you know, not who was it? What did they call mothers who had children in the army and they were killed? What do they call them?
Gold Star families.
Something like angel mothers or
Yeah, I know what you're talking
something
about.
like that. Like there was one where he like literally just ignored one of them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it was like, dude only cares about stuff that.
Well, but to be fair, he fucking forgot she was standing right in front of him.
I mean,
Does someone say ice cream?
Shane Gillis has it right, spot on when he says Trump. He is Trump's freaking Achilles
His
heel,
kryptonite.
Because the thing is, he doesn't even know what anyone's saying. He just knows.
I don't think I hit the button.
You did. You just got to bring it back now.
Oh.
Let me see. I know, right? This is. Oh. Hey, that
Oh no,
works.
I did. I see it now.
I know, but this works perfectly. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, I don't want to.
Yeah, let's get through that. We've been
Trump's
talking a
get
lot.
over it comment. So, but here's the funny thing too, and I'm gonna plant the seed here. I do not know a lot of details, but
I planted the seed twice.
And I can't even remember the organization, but it's basically it's a small business lobbying group, and we just joined up with them. But a little birdie told me that you're not going to see it till after the election, but you're going to start seeing a lot of sweeping changes in healthcare. You're going to start seeing a shit ton of sweeping, good shit. Like a lot of good. You're going to see a lot of deregulation. This is what this guy said. Like I said, a little birdie told me. And you're going to see it almost immediately. Certainly by the middle of 2025, they're going to have a lot of this stuff rolling, trying to get passed. And there's a lot of support because
is this like just in Congress? Or
in
is it
Congress,
Trump?
yeah. No, it's got
Nothing to do with him?
it's got very little to do with Trump.
Well,
per se.
I tell you what, if he's in, it'll get signed.
Oh,
If
it will,
he's not-
it will.
If he's not,
They're talking about doing a lot of stuff. He said you're going to start getting calls and being visited by people that sell insurance and be like, well, hey, we've got these new products that are heavily affordable, blah, 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 blah.
deregulation. If they stop
That's what they're-
if they stop statewide health insurance,
Well, and they're going to, and again, I don't understand all the legalese. He explained it, but I'll be honest, I didn't get it because I don't sell fucking insurance. I don't know what the fuck this all means, but they're basically going to do a lot of deregulations and be less strict with classifications on certain things. Like right now you have health plans that only have such and such. There's going to be a lot more customization options available, and then he said that prescription drug prices are going to start going way down in 2025 because they're going to start doing a lot of,
I mean, if we just had transparency within
That's
the
basically-
hospitals and the health industry.
well, so one of the big things was the Biden administration was trying to make it so that this is the part that I do remember and understood. So they were trying to pass a law, and they came very close to passing it, where companies, not just drug companies, but companies like drug companies or tech companies would not be able to deduct their R&D costs off of their taxes.
Sorry, somebody's home.
Oh.
Now what?
So the Biden administration was trying to pass a law, or I should say the Democrats, trying to pass a law that would basically make it so companies that do research and development, like drug companies, like tech companies, would not be able to deduct their research and development costs off of their taxes. Yeah, that's right fucking stupid.
It's a tax write-off.
Well, but what they're trying to do is, again, they're trying to raise the taxes on these guys, and that's a big way. But I'm like, did you just not think about what that means?
So California raised their tax rates on quite a bit of people, and they also raised minimum wage there to like astronomical highs.
Yeah, so they can get more tax money.
They literally, the people who employ people, have been laying off people and
because they have to,
because they can't afford it. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, a business is always going to prioritize profit over employees. And I know it sounds bad, but at the same time, the business has to stay profitable. Geez, I'm starting to sound like Biden. The business has to stay profitable in order to, I don't know, succeed.
Because you have to.
How is that such a fucking hard thing to get? I don't understand these people. Like, you know, like, and you tax these billionaires more and whatnot. They're just going to take their business elsewhere. It's not like, it's not rocket science, guys.
So, but how you tax billionaires more is you close some of the loop, which honestly, there are some bullshit loopholes.
Fuck that shit. Flat tax, that's all we need, and we need a balanced budget. It's really not that difficult. Like, Washington is so easy. We just have stupid people who don't want to work regular jobs, and they go there.
Well,
this is where term limits will help. Because the thing is, like, it won't stop lobbying, but it will stop these fucking career politicians.
But, so I just found a problem with flat tax.
Lobbyist groups.
Yeah, I just found a problem with the flat tax, though, when it comes to billionaires.
Hit me.
There's also, like, let's say you've got, no
write-offs, just flat tax.
Right, but then you just move your money elsewhere.
Well, I mean, if it's a reasonable flat tax,
that's true.
Like 6% for everybody, or maybe even 10%. Like, that sounds a little too much for me. Because I'm sorry, if you're taxing everyone 5%, including billionaires, 5% on $1 billion. So let's do the math, people. If we, I think that's.
Well, but they don't make $1 billion a year. That's not their annual income.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, and that's another thing that matters. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm saying, like, when Biden was saying something about over $400,000.
Well, realistically, let's be real here. If you want to close that tax gap, it's not the income tax you need to fix. You need to have some way to tax people in that, multi-million billionaire class, but in a way that doesn't discourage them from making said money, but in a way that kind of closes the gap. Because theoretically, like Elon Musk, this might be hyperbolic, I'm not sure, but people claim that his annual salary is $1 from each of his companies.
I can see it.
Well, yeah, but then he's only taxed on $1.
Well, he
pays taxes another way, but I'm talking strictly his income tax.
Well, but does he need income?
No, that's the point. But everybody keeps talking about income
tax. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But all this talk of tax is only talking about income tax, which is a problem from both sides, because the left is like, tax the rich more. But it's like, yeah, but on their income is not sufficient to tax in that way.
Trump's talking about already repealing income tax.
Which realistically, that's probably. I was gonna say that's probably the way to go if you want to indirectly tax the billionaire class more.
Dude, we shouldn't listen. This is the way it should. Like, I feel like I'm more libertarian than a fucking libertarian. Somewhat.
More roads.
But I know, and that's the thing. I like roads, but at the same time, it's really not that expensive to keep infrastructure up. I mean, the money we sent to fucking Ukraine literally would have fixed all our infrastructure, like what they say, like the thing I read was like 5 times over, But anyway, there was a point I was making. What were we talking about before that? Taxes. Okay. I don't know.
That's
hold on. Anyway.
True
international effort to pressure.
Okay, so. don't know. That she threw me off. See, I'm pulling a Biden right now. I'm blaming someone else for throwing off my thoughts.
Anyway.
So yeah, flat tax. What was it? You punched a hole in it.
Well, the problem is the nature of the tax in question, and everybody's talking about the wrong thing.
Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. Sales tax. Just keep sales tax. I'd be okay with that. That's the only tax we need. Sales tax. That will take care of everything.
It's going
if we had a balanced budget and didn't spend like fucking idiots.
It's going to take...
Benjamin Silvers.
Okay, but here's...
My expenses are way worse since 2022. Spot on with the time frame. We caught some of it around 2021, but it really took off in 22. Dude, seriously.
Which, by the way, Benjamin, thank you for being a recurring viewer, because I've seen your comments across a couple of videos.
Yeah, and if we don't get back to them, sorry about that.
But we appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I like to think my delivering on the 4-page apology helped.
Is that where it came from?
I believe so.
Oh, on the Starfighter?
Yeah.
That was the last Starfighter.
I think so.
Potentially, but hey, I mean, you get fans from anything.
I mean, I didn't have to do it.
Hey, that was... Listen, it was kind of painful, but at the same time, it was kind of funny, so that's why
I had a lot of fun writing it.
Correct. Don't trash the Starfighter.
I admitted my mistake.
Oh, that's like
Iron
Eagle from
Chappie.
Johnny. What's his last name?
Lawrence.
Oh my gosh, Cobra Kai.
You almost said Kid Cobra,
dude.
That's the new show. That's Johnny's kids show, Kid Cobra. I smell an animated series, boy.
Ugh. I mean, if it's
it would
anime,
do terrible.
Maybe.
What?
Anime.
Dude, that would be
pretty raw.
Imagine Cobra Kai as an anime with a sick opening intro.
You can't do cartoons. Like, and I know everybody, cartoon anime. No, they're different. Anime is like a cartoon for adults.
There's anime, and I'm not even talking about Family Guy.
It's vastly different.
We'll touch on that when we talk about Dragon Ball.
Yeah. So yeah, let's continue.
So the last thing I really wanted to make sure we touched on was the fact that, and this is probably what pissed me off the most. So Biden keeps saying he's the president of unity, but then every time he says it, the next sentence is literally
my friends on the other side of the aisle. That's not a unifying statement. That is a very divisive statement.
But it kills me because he'll say he's the president of unity, and then literally like give the proverbial punch to the chin, sucker punch.
Yeah.
And I would like to clarify one thing. So everybody who keeps talking about and somehow blaming Trump for the border. Now, I do want to say one thing. Trump is absolutely trying to exploit the border crisis for political gain. But it's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's not that hard to
it's not like he didn't try to fix it when he was in office and got stopped at every turn. However, it is worth noting two things. Biden keeps saying he can't close the border. He absolutely can.
He doesn't have to let anyone.
No,
I mean, ask the Muslim countries that Trump said no to from the planes. Like that's a little different. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, it can.
No. The Department of Homeland Security
and increase the
Department of Homeland Security is an executive
function.
No, God damn it, agency.
Oh.
Which means it is under the discretion of the president.
So he could have closed the border this entire time.
ICE is a federal agency.
They're talking since he's taken office, or 12 to 20 million.
Customs and Border Patrol is a federal agency. So he could shut it down tomorrow if he wanted to. But here's the other part though.
The voters,
is the fact
maybe.
You know why the Republicans voted against that bill that everybody keeps talking about? Because it would so it's really the automatic border closure that they had a problem with. And this is one of many issues they had with it. The problem is in that bill, it made that the number of illegal interactions that caused the border to be automatically closed was 5,000 in a day. That's not even that number has not happened in a day. They say even though now it's really bad, they're saying it's like 2,000 to 3,000 on a bad day. So yeah, you pass that law, and nothing changes. because they purposely made that number too high. So that's probably why. Now, I'm sure that there are definitely some more MAGA Republicans that probably would vote against it just so that Trump could run on it. Like Matt Gaetz, probably. Not going to lie. Matt Gaetz probably would vote no on it because Matt Gaetz is a fucking idiot. But, well, Matt Gaetz got rid of Kevin McCarthy. And
I didn't understand that. And then the new speaker was doing somewhat of the same shit, and I was like,
well, but they didn't really. I mean, they had a choice technically, but
they didn't really have anything to do.
That's not the hill to die on, though.
No,
that's like
that's the problem with Republicans, man.
Well,
they attack each other.
But then they went and made a deal that was worse than the one that
unify, guys. Unify. Like that's the problem with everybody. No one wants to come together. Now, I will say. All the other, well, actually, I don't know about Chris Christie, but like a lot of the other Republicans running for president, like when they finally conceded and said, yeah, okay, we'll endorse Trump because he's obviously going to be the nominee, Nikki Haley's still holding to her ground. And it's like really, what are you holding on to, lady? Like, what are you holding on to? That's so important.
She talked too much shit, and now she looks.
Yeah.
She can't win. So
I mean, she couldn't. No,
the only thing she had
going for her was that she was a woman running for office. Past that, her policies sucked. I don't know if she sucked or not.
I mean, frankly, her policies are too moderate for the Republican Party today. Like in a vacuum, I probably agree with most of it, but today it's not going to fly. And now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the thing that pissed me off most about the State of the Union is, once again, it showed just how, like you said, half the room would clap, half the room sat like this. Half the room would boo, and then the other half of the room went.
I will say, though, for the most part, when Biden literally got, like, booed, I'm talking booed. It was something that was worth booing.
I agree, but that's also, there were a lot of people shouting from the audience more than I remember in any other State of the Union.
Did you see Marjorie? Boy, she was decked out and all red. Dude, even Biden looked at her and was just like,
Jesus Christ.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, you can show your respect for the Republican. You can show your respect for Trump, but like, you don't have to wear it all. That's why it's corny. Like,
well, and again, that's what makes me.
She did it for. It was a political stunt. I get it.
Well, but there were a bunch of Democrats that were
half of Republicans are establishment and refuse to fight back. Oh, dude, you're absolutely right.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's why they're called rhinos.
Man, I don't remember when I said it, but I said Trump was going to split the Republican Party,
and he did.
He did. He absolutely did. And it's like, you almost can't. And I don't mean this disparagingly, so hold until I finish the sentence before you go. You almost can't really.
I could be a winner. No, I couldn't. Yeah. Hey, facts.
Who shit my pants?
Oh my gosh.
Happy 14th of Father's Day. No, but you almost can't really call, in the traditional sense, you almost can't call.
This is my sister, Jill Biden.
You almost can't call the hardcore Trump supporters Republicans because they're so far removed from what the Republican Party used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bush era Republicans, second Bush, well, even first Bush. You know, and I got to say, the splintering really, I think, started to happen. Like Ben Shapiro says this, and I agree with him. The splinter really started to happen around when Obama got elected. That's when the Republicans really started kind of. Well, but if you recall, that's when the Tea Party started.
I thought it was when Splinter got into the U's. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Well, you remember, because everybody forgets the Trump just commandeered the Tea Party. It's the same organization.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know, like, the funny thing is, when you hear Trump, he literally talks about low taxes, making money, and just taking care of family.
Look at these gold shoes.
You know, and everybody, oh my gosh, that was amazing. But everyone, like, wants to shit on him because of, like, the things he said about women and this and that. And I'm just like, listen, 20 years ago, it didn't matter. Like, you could say things like that as long as you weren't, like, you know, going up and grabbing on a woman. And on top of that, it was
in public. Have the decency to pay her and do it in a hotel room. It wasn't even
in a public setting.
I know, but I will say this. So this is from a much older episode.
Abo!
No, this is from a much older episode of Joe Rogan with Shane Gillis on it. I think it was the first time Shane Gillis was on his podcast. But this was right after, like, the first Vince McMahon scandal was happening. Not the first one, but the first, like, when they discovered he was paying off women and having him sign NDAs is when the first one broke. Joe Rogan said something effective is like, yeah, dude, but he's fucking a 70 some odd year old billionaire and he's fucking jacked and he's obviously out there slinging dick. And he said, I'd honestly be a little disappointed. I'd be disappointed in him if he wasn't out there slinging dick. Like, and then Shane's like if he was just a happily faithful married man.
Who was he talking about?
Vince McMahon.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? This is controversial, but I think this is the dirty little secret that hardly anybody will admit to publicly, but I will. I think that's what people feel about Trump. Like, they'd kind of be disappointed if he was, like, if he's at the status he was at and he wasn't out there getting...
It's like, listen, I hate to say it like this. If you're a billionaire at one point, he probably did sell your soul.
You've hired a hooker at some point.
Well, I mean, you did sell your soul, so therefore you're probably going to be okay with, treating women like objects. But, I mean, for the most part, I mean, the guy's kind of turned around a bit now. Like,
but then let's not forget, it's not like Trump is the only...
I think he may have turned around.
It's not like Trump is the only man that's had sexual abuse allegations or assault allegations. Biden has.
Andrew Cuomo.
Clinton. Both Bill and Hillary.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about Hillary, but...
yeah, she definitely had it. Those girls on the island,
like, I spanked that bitch.
She was on the island, too, with Bill. And honestly, I honestly think that... So, Hillary runs Bill. Obama runs Biden. I mean, it's just the DNC, parade. Whatever you want to call it. So where are we at? And okay, I mean, I will say, listen, out of everything, I will say that Biden's pro-Israel stance, I appreciate it. Like, he's against Gaza, and I'm just like,
now we don't.
How the fuck did Steve? Dude, hey, Stephen Hawking is a creeper. Like, haven't you heard? Like, he literally would just sit on the edge and just watch, and it's just like, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
To be fair, we don't know that for a fact, but there are reports.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this is alleged, but the memes have been gold.
Hey, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson is probably on the list too.
Actually, no, he wasn't.
I know. He's a creep though. I don't like him.
He's not a creep. I think
he's smart. He's a physicist. Don't get me wrong. I believe he's smart, but some of the things he says, I'm just like, why? You're so smart.
You'd have to give me a specific example, but
the whole transgender thing. He was like, "Oh, somebody can wake up not feeling like a girl or a boy that day." And I'm just like, "Yeah," and I feel like waking up like a fucking millionaire doesn't make me one.
It can in your mind.
In your mind, but then guess what? If I go and tell you I'm a millionaire, can I buy your house? You don't have $1 million. What? That's like, a man who's dressing up as a woman who literally wants to date a real man, not a fake woman, or a fake man. But I don't know. It's stupid. Not the hills to die on.
Yeah.
Not the hills to die on. And if they keep printing money like this, we'll all be millionaires. Yay. Bro, we will make the fucking yen look like, or what?
We'll be yuan.
Is it the yuan now?
The Chinese one? It's always been the yuan.
Chinese. No. Yen is Japanese, right? And like, so it's like 5,000 yen is like $10 or something like that, or
I think it's closer to 50, but
hey Siri, what is 5,000 yen into USD? Dig. $34.
I was gonna say, oh wow, okay, so the exchange.
But still, though, like 5,000 yen, that sounds like a lot. And then you're just like, oh, it's $35. That's like a used.
Well, but
video
to put
game.
it into perspective, 5 yen. This is not an even exchange rate, so don't quote me on this. But approximately 5 yen is about a nickel. So.
That's weird.
Well, roughly.
I know it's 5 yen. So it's not like 0.05 like the nickel for us. I get it. That's crazy though.
It's about, you move the decimal over 2 places and you'll be close. It's not exact, but you'll be somewhat close.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We'll all be millionaires, but it'll be like we're buying stuff in yen or whatever other.
We'll trade
the ruble for one. I mean, the ruble's the same way too. Like it's so many hundreds is a couple dollars of ours. It's just like. Yep. I don't get it, but it's also not my country, so.
But yeah, what did you think, America? Did you watch Biden? I know a lot of people didn't even watch it, and I'm kind of like, oh, and you fuckers are gonna vote
because they know exactly what he's gonna say. A bunch of lies. Like some of it was a little truthful, but for the most part, it was literally him just up there shitting through his teeth. No, not even his teeth. I'm pretty sure they're fake. You think they're fake?
I think. Well, I'll put it this way. I think
His
he's
teeth were made of wool.
I think he's got implants.
Yeah, brain implant.
No,
He had a brain implant for that State of the Union.
yeah, they put the fresh one in.
But did you see? I don't know if I sent you the video. His State of the Union, a lot of his speech, if you go back to the 2022,
It's the same.
It's the same, and I'm just like, oh,
That's why you
it was
remember
so
so well.
good. Because he was able to just sit there and just,
The neural pathways have been burned into his brain.
I just gotta do it twice. You know what I'm saying? You just grab a puppy by the thing, and anyway, you know the thing.
Okay, but yeah, I think we're done with that. Let's talk. Let's get off here and talk about some fucking Dragon Ball.
Yeah, fuck Biden.
Yeah,
Not really.
FJB.
Though, because a
Yeah,
lot of
don't
children
actually-
probably have.
don't actually have sex with them.
And I said probably YouTube. Can't get me on that.
I think that is a bit of a strong insinuation. Yeah, we're talking about him next. So stick around. We'll be on.
Yeah, absolutely.
few minutes.
We'll be back on in literally probably less than 10 talking about Dragon Ball and Akira. R.I.P. Actually, you want to lead it out on this one or just go for it?
Thank you for enjoying this episode of Average Intelligence Podcast. Hopefully you're a little bit less average and a little bit more intelligent. Please like, share, and subscribe. Watch our long-form content. Help us get our watch time up so we can start getting paid for this shit and bring you guys even better content
We're not far.
because we're working on it. But
We're so close.
stay tuned for a couple minutes. If you hit that, if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, you'll get the alert when we come back on, where we can give our tribute to the late great Akira Toriyama, creator of Dragon Ball. Smoke break, yeah, exactly.
All right, everyone. We will see you on the
Shortly.
fly. Super fly. Super duper fly.